The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
It's right about time again to swerve again, confuse the general fans again.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my cabin in the woods on Lake Yogi. I got a special guest today. Never spoken to him before. But I can tell you this, I know this guy's got a huge personality. He's an entertainer at heart. I know that, obviously, from what I've seen him on TV and just chatting with him for a couple of minutes before he came on. He's an MMA legend. He is a professional wrestler. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Never spoken to him before. I got to admit, I'm a little bit intimidated. Because this guy's the real deal. Listen, I've had MMA fighters on my show before. I've had Chael Sonnen. I just had Ken Shamrock on, but they're my buddies. I never talked to this guy before, so I got to be very careful because I don't want him knocking my lights out. But I'm going to bring on now the great King Mo. King Mo, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Now, King Mo, listen, you got to set the guidelines for me because, I'm an Italian with a big mouth. A lot of times I don't think before I speak. Is there anything in this interview I should stay away from so I don't piss you off? Set the guidelines for me, please.
I don't do guidelines, man. We're doing an interview. I respect you. I'm a big fan of yours as well. Let's do it, man.
Okay, and King Mo, can we be like 1,000% totally honest with each other? Because there's one thing I want to talk to you a little bit about.
All right, let's go ahead.
Okay, now, Mo, I was doing my research on you, and I'm reading, your background, collegiate, pound for pound. You are a legitimate blue chip, world-class wrestler. I mean, I'm talking Greco-Roman. That's what you participated in high school, college. Am I correct about that?
It was freestyle. I did freestyle, and I didn't do Greco, but I played with it a little bit. But I did freestyle. I did collegiate. In college, I did collegiate. After college, I did freestyle for the U.S. team.
Okay, now, Mo, I have to ask you a question, because I was very tight with Kurt Angle, and, Kurt Angle was a great wrestler as well. Now, when you're going to college and you're exceeding in wrestling, and, it's real wrestling, it's legitimate wrestling. Now, do you contemplate in your mind, listen, maybe I can make a career in MMA, maybe I can make a career in professional wrestling? What's going through your mind once you're looking at the end of your college days?
Well, I went to Oklahoma State. So at Oklahoma State, we were bred to think, make the Olympic team. Because John Smith was a two-time Olympic champion, four-time world champion. So we're like, make the world team, make the Olympic team. I thought about pro wrestling before I started wrestling because I was a pro wrestling fan growing up. NWA, WCW, and so on, WCCW and everything, the Mid-South Series. But the thing is that going into college, I was like, okay, make the Olympic team. See what happens. After nationals, I got called to try out for WWE at Ohio Valley from Tom Pritchard, and I took it. They offered me a contract, but I turned it down because I wanted to win be the Olympic champion. Because I seen what Kurt Angle was doing at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm winning Olympic championship. Maybe fight a little bit, then come to pro wrestling, because then I'll be a legitimate shooter. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in the wrestling scene, and people, I could be marketed differently than just than coming out as a college wrestler that went to pro wrestling.
So now what happened about, because you were expected to make the Olympics, but something happened and that didn't go that way. What exactly happened, Mo?
I got upset at the trials. Really, it was kind of controversial because I won the first match. There were some awkward calls in the second match, but the guy, Andy Robat, beat me. In the third match, I really thought I beat, he got me in the third match, but there were some controversial calls. But really, there should have never been a third match. After beating the first match, the second match, I really should have won that one. But for some reason, they didn't give him the call. And he ended up winning, and then he ended up pulling it off in the third match. But it was close, kind of controversial. But really, I should have been the man. You know, I beat the Olympic champion. I beat the Olympic bronze medalist at that weight class, and the Olympic bronze medalist at the weight class above. And I was the #1 wrestler in the world at the time. I was one of the favorites to win, but just through the way the system was, you know, I was busy wrestling guys overseas, training for the best guys in the world, and the people in the United States were trained to beat me. So I never had a chance to really focus on the domestic competition as much.
Now, when you say there was a controversial call, was that a referee's call? What was the call that was controversial?
Well, okay, I took him down to his back, and he rolled me through. So since I took him down to his back, it should have been 3 points for me under the old rules and 2 points for him. But what happened was they said just scrap the 3 points for him, give him 3 points. And I was like, no, let's argue this. It should be 3 points for me because I took him down from his feet to his back, and he went out of bounds, but he rolled me through. So once you go out of bounds, the motion stops. So whatever point is scored stops. So it should have been 3 points for me, maybe 2 for him, but really, no, it should have been 3 points for me, none for him. But they gave him 3 points and gave me none.
God, well,
which was awkward.
Yeah, I mean, not only is that awkward, but that's a big difference. Even if there was a 1 point difference, even if it was 3-2, all of a sudden he's given 3 points, you're giving nothing. I mean, that mentally, you probably had to lose the match right there, I would think.
Well, I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, okay, this, because really that was the second match. Because back then, when I was wrestling, we had 3 periods. If the best 2 out of 3 won the match. Well, I won the first period. That 3 points they gave him won him the second period, and then he went on to win the third period by overtime, but a coin toss. Back then, the clinch was they tossed a coin. If it was red and you won a red singlet, you got a chance to grab their leg. And if you scored a takedown when you grabbed the leg, that was a match. Well, he won the coin toss, so he had a chance to grab my leg, and he won.
That's kind of like giving Tom Brady the football first in overtime, Mo. Kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, that's a great analogy right there. Tom Brady's the man.
Yeah, Tom Brady is the man, bro. Hey, Mo, I gotta ask you a question, bro, because I got to be around a lot of, serious amateur wrestlers, Kurt Angle being one. I got to be around, Dan Severn. I got to be around a guy like Jerry Briscoe. And, it's funny when you hear, and Oklahoma State's a huge school. Mo, when you hear the word collegiate wrestler, you think of guys like that. You think of guys that are real serious. They don't talk a lot. They just go out there and take care of business. You don't seem to come from that mold, Mo. You seem you're colorful. I mean, was discipline, because I would think that wrestling, I'm talking real collegiate wrestling, there's got to be a lot of discipline involved in that. You just don't seem to have that type of a personality to me. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, you're right. I'm disciplined. When it comes to training, I'm like before practice, I'm joking around. During practice, I'm serious. After practice, I'm tired, but I'm joking around. The thing is, you have to have fun when you're out there. So if you're out there, a lot of people out there that were serious, I like to them like they were just doing their job and they were having fun. I was serious, but I was having fun, so I was like outgoing. You know what I'm saying? I trained hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I did everything to the max. I did everything smart. So when practice time was like work time. Now, actual matches was playtime, because then that's your chance to shine, to go out there, have a good time, and let loose on somebody. That's how I thought of it as. I didn't think of it as like I'm gonna go out there and handle business and just sit. I was like, I'm gonna go out there, handle business, have fun, and showcase my skills on them.
You see, Mo, that's what I don't understand. But I guess what you're really talking about is the confidence level that you had. Because, bro, like when you tell me that, I put myself in that position. If I'm about to have a match with a guy, one-on-one, the level you were out, I'm crapping my pants, Mo. I'm not going out there and I'm not looking at that as having a good time. I'm looking at that as I'm going to be in a fight. Looking at it that way, is that strictly 100% confidence level?
Well, yeah, it's 100% confidence level in their training because at Oklahoma State and at Central Oklahoma, the schools I went to before, before I wrestled, at the Olympic level, every practice was a fist fight. There were no easy workouts. Everything was a fist fight. You had to fight for every inch, every, everything. Nothing was given to you. So I was like, okay, I went through fights 2 times a day up until this match. This match time is playtime. So I'm like a cougar or like a jaguar playing with this prey. And then after that, when it came time, I play with it, then bite its skull, crush its skull, and eat. And after that, get my hand raised. That's how I saw things. I wasn't like, okay, go out there. Because the thing is, back then, a lot of wrestlers had a robotic mentality, and everything about them, there was no charisma. All they saw was Dan Gable in Iowa, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a machine. I'm gonna go." Rah, 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 rah. No, you know what? That mentality hurt wrestling in a sense because it wasn't marketable. No, everyone was the same. Oh, what you think about your opponent? Oh, he's tough. And no one cared about that.
But Mo, let me ask you this. So I agree with you 100%. I hear what you're saying 100%. But here's my question. I would think that your coaches might have an issue with that type of approach because the average collegiate wrestler is that serious, is that serious Dan Severn type. You come along lighthearted, having fun at other people's expense. I would think that coaches might have an issue with that, no?
Well, the thing is that you can ask my opponents. Ask my opponent, lighthearted killer. I went out there, I smashed them. Now I had a great time, but I smashed them and I embarrassed them. Like, there was nothing fun about wrestling me. It was fun for me because I was winning. Think about this, right? When you're winning, that's when you're having fun. Mm-hmm. When you're losing and getting smashed, that's when you're not having fun.
Hey, Mo, what's the other end of that like? Let me ask you this question. What's the other end of that like, Mo? What happens when you do go out there? And I mean, in those rare occasions when you get a butt kicking, what happens to an athlete like you? Like I said, for the majority of the time, you're doing the butt whipping. But all of a sudden, that butt whipping comes to you. Now, is that a very humble experience? Does that set you back, or do you put all the onus on yourself and the mistakes you made in that match?
What? I'm gonna be real with you. When I lose, I was in college. I was like, okay, I lost. What cost me the match? And I'm not gonna lie. There times I lost before Christmas break or Thanksgiving break, and I would just stay back to college, and I just work on what got me beat. Because the thing is, one thing I can say is every time I've lost, I've improved. So if you have the right mentality, a loss will help you get better 3 or 4 times.
Okay, so Mo, now the Olympic thing doesn't work out. Bad call goes against you. So now do the sights switch to professional wrestling?
Well, yeah, they switched to professional wrestling because I got a phone call from them. But once I saw the developmental contract, and I was like, you know what? I can struggle. I can do MMA. I can do something else because that wasn't much money. I was already broke as it was, and I didn't want to be broke much longer. And granted, I was a fan, but I was like, you know what? I could come back and make more money if I make a name for myself as a legit competitor. You know what I'm saying? A legit badass. And I tried, but I kind of came short. But hindsight 2020.
God, see, Mo, that's where I get confused with guys like you that have done both. I just had an interview with Shamrock. He did both. That's where I get really confused, Mo. And just lay this out for me, because being a collegiate wrestler, Oklahoma State at that level, there has to be a level of competitiveness fire that's inside of you. But then all of a sudden you go to professional wrestling and it's not a real competition. It's a work. So that's where I just get a little confused, because in order to wrestle at the level you did, there's got to be a competitiveness. There's got to be a fire to beat your opponent. You don't get that in wrestling. So why is wrestling just as appealing to you?
Well, the thing is, when I was wrestling as a collegiate wrestler or an Olympic wrestler, I wasn't necessarily always competing to beat my opponents. I was competing to be the best me I could be. You know, I wasn't really trying to compete with my opponents as much. When I won matches, I would, but on a daily basis, when I was practicing to be a better me every day. So with pro wrestling, I like to, if you have a personality you like to entertain, like you see guys like, Kurt Angle, the late Eddie Guerrero, those guys took it to a whole different level. They were guys that made themselves better each match. And guys like Arn Anderson were so good, they made you look great. And, granted, people don't know that, but as long as the people within the circles, they know that. And that's what I was just trying to be like, because I want to be like an Arn Anderson type, because I love Arn Anderson. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's one of the most underrated wrestlers that I've ever seen. I love Arn Anderson, and that's what I want to be like. So I want to be the type of guy that I could make anybody look great and have a great time out there myself.
Mo, let me ask you this. Obviously, you come across as a very intelligent guy. And Mo, this happens all the time, especially in college sports. Just let's take basketball, for instance. All of a sudden you got a sophomore who's a standout in basketball, but then he goes to the NBA draft because he doesn't want to finish up his junior or senior years because he already knows he's going to be drafted. So God forbid he gets hurt. His entire career may be over. Now, again, I want to put you in that position. I understand you got a developmental deal. The money was a little disappointing. I understand the logic completely. I'll go out. I'll legitimately do this. Then I'll come back to pro wrestling and I'll write my number. However, Mo, you're taking a risk of getting hurt and maybe never having that opportunity again. And once it's on for real, and once you're locked in a cage with another human being, bro, it could be one strike and you could be done. Did that play in your head at all when you turned down that money from OVW?
No, not at all. I'm gonna be real with you. It didn't play in my head at all. I just saw a fight as a fight. It could end in 1 second. It could end in 25 minutes. But after my WWE tryout, I was like, okay, you know what? Wrestling isn't easy. Fighting is easier than wrestling. That's what I thought, because I had a chance to work out with guys, getting punched and kicked, whatever. But taking bumps over and over and over and over again. Doing 3 or 4 matches in a week, man, I did that once and I was sore for literally 6 weeks. Now, I could fight if I could fight every month, I would, because I know I'll be sore for a few days. But wrestling is way harder, man. It's way harder.
Mo, that is unbelievable, you telling me that, because the risk, when you're in wrestling, you're in a controlled fight and you're working with your opponent. Bro, when you're shooting for real, you ain't working with your opponent. I mean, that amazes me that you actually found wrestling more difficult than getting punched square on in the face.
Way more difficult, because it's like this, right? In a wrestling match, I've seen guys like Crimson. He wrestled at OVW and he wrestled at TNA. He's a cool dude. He was telling me, he's like, Mo, I tore my ACL in the match and I had to finish it. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, so we had to make adjustments during the match. It's like this. You tear your ACL in an MMA fight, you can tap out if you want to. You can tell the referee, hey, I don't want no more. Or your corner can throw a towel in. So, in wrestling, you're out there entertained. So you're out there putting your body on the line. Your partner has to be smart. If your partner's not good, that could be your life. Think about this. Look at the worst MMA injuries and look at the worst pro wrestling injuries. And it's night and day. Like what MMA injuries, you might have a broken shin bone, maybe a cracked skull or a broken arm. Man, after seeing what Sid Vicious been through, or guys falling through the ropes the wrong way, or breaking their necks, like it's night and day, man. Like I can take punches all day, but I can't hit the ropes and take bumps all day. I'll tell you that.
Mo,
it's night and day.
So, Mo, what you are telling me then is you prefer professional wrestling over the MMA world. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's like this. I'm not saying I prefer it. I prefer MMA because it's easier, and honestly. But people, the thing is, pro wrestling gets no respect. I remember Phil Baroni. He was like, "Mo, is pro wrestling hard?" I was like, "Man, it's harder than MMA." No way. We're fighters. No, I was like, "Know what? Go hit the ropes, cable ropes. Go take bumps, and tell me how you feel." So he's like, a year passed. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to FSW in Las Vegas. I'm gonna show him what's up." Man, 2 days later, he's like, "Mo, you're right." I was like, "Right about what?" He's like, "I went to wrestling school. My neck's messed up. My shoulders messed up. My back and my heels and my knees." He's like, "I was taking bumps, hitting the ropes." He's like, "I'm a rep right now." He's like, "I don't know what to do." I was like, "All you can do is keep on taking bumps because eventually your body gets used to it." But the thing is that it can take a month. It can take 2 months. It's like this. Look at a wrestler. Look at an MMA fighter that's 40 years old, right? Like Vanderlei Silva or Chael Sonnen that's about to be 40. But then look at a 40-year-old wrestler. It's night and day. Look at whose body's wrecked. Most wrestlers I've seen, wrecked. Most MMA fighters might be wrecked, but you can't tell.
Yeah. Mo, I know for a while there you were trying to juggle both. And a couple of guys have. Obviously Brock Lesnar comes to mind. Is that impossible? With the demands of professional wrestling and the demands of MMA, is it impossible to juggle both at the same time, Mo?
Man, I'm gonna tell you this. It depends on your schedule, because if you have like a WWE schedule, it's gonna be hard. If you have a Ring of Honor style of wrestling, it's gonna be damn hard. If you're fighting if you're taking MMA very serious, you're fighting 3 or 4 times a year, it's gonna be tough. But if you're picking and choosing, you're fighting twice a year, and you're lower, and you're just like they're letting you pick your opponents, you can do it. It depends on your schedule with both. It depends, because with TNA they filmed a bunch of shows in one sitting, and then after that you had time off. You can do it that way, but if you're on the road doing house shows and all this and that, not going to happen. Something's going to give.
So, Mo, with that being said, is your game plan now to still flourish in the MMA world and maybe go to professional wrestling when that's over? What's the game plan for you?
My game plan is just to keep on fighting, getting paid. I take independent bookings here and there. I've done some independent bookings. And even at American Top Team, I wrestled Stevie Richards, took a Stevie kick. I wrestled Action Ortiz he wrestled Ring of Honor up in the Northeast. We brought down Wes Briscoe a few times. I ain't wrestled him yet, but we brought down Gangrel. We do shows here for the kids, and I take some bookings here and there. So, it just depends on my fight schedule.
God, Mo, I got to tell you, as a guy, my job was creative. My job was to create characters, write for those characters, then put those characters in the storyline. Brother, I don't need to tell you this, but brother, you freaking ooze charisma, Mo. Like, my God, do you get to use your level of charisma in MMA, or is that kind of frowned upon? Now, obviously, with Conor McGregor, that has sold millions of dollars on pay-per-view. But how did the other athletes, in other words, if I'm fighting with you on Bellator, am I understanding and appreciating the color and the entertainment aspect you're bringing to that? Or do a lot of the guys look at you like, oh, this guy's cocky, this guy's got a chip on his shoulder, because maybe they do take it a little bit more seriously? How do others look at that? Because like I said, bro, you got your freaking personality, and I want to talk about TNA in a minute, but how do you handle that in the MMA world?
Well, it's hit or miss. Some guys are cool with me and they respect me. And then some guys that don't know me think I'm just a joke, and they're like, "Oh, he's cocky, he's arrogant," but they don't realize I train hard, I train smart, and the thing is, I'm very confident, so I know I could be me. I don't have to be a machine or a robot. I can be me. I can be outgoing. I can have my personality because I know I'm about to have fun when I step in the cage. Some guys act a certain way out of fear because they're afraid to talk. Because if they lose, then people are going to use their words against them. Or they're afraid to talk because when you talk, you have to back the talk up. So the moment if I say, Vince, when I fight, I'm going to kick your ass, people going to be like, okay, Mo said this. If I lose, they're like, oh, well, Mo's talking all that trash. Look at you now. If I win, they're like, damn, Mo came with it. Mo did what he said he's going to do. So, it's a double-edged sword, man.
Hey, Mo, was there ever another opportunity with WWE after you turned down that first OVW offer? Did anything else come after that?
No, nothing else came after it.
God, Mo, you know what I would do if I swear to God, bro, just having this conversation with you. Here's the beauty of you, bro, because like you said, if you got a couple of fights and then with the WWE schedule, that's difficult. But my God, bro, you could make a living just talking. Like you could just be a personality on that show. I mean, whether it's a GM or talking for somebody that can't talk, you got a freaking gift that would make huge money for them, bro.
I want to be like Teddy Long or Slick.
Oh,
win them too, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Jive Soul Bro, the Jive Soul Bro.
Yeah, hey, I was actually going to come out to that song one fight, but I was like, you know what? People wouldn't get it. Because let me tell you something. Hakeem was my favorite wrestler for a while. I loved Hakeem. I loved him. I still want to meet him. If I could meet him, I'll shake his hand. I met Beautiful Body Eaton, gave him a big hug, gave Sting a hug. All my favorite wrestlers, I give them hugs because they entertain me and I respect what they do. But Hakeem was the man. I love Hakeem.
That's fun, bro. I got to be honest with you, bro. I never spoke to anybody where Hakeem was their favorite wrestler.
What? Are you serious?
Now, Mo, let me tell you something, because here's what's bothering. Listen, I'm from New York. I got a big mouth. I don't want to run into you someplace and you jack me up, but I got to speak my mind, and now I especially have to say it after talking to you for just 10 minutes and seeing this great personality. Okay? Mo, I got to be honest with you. I hated this, Mo. I hated this, and I'm going to be honest with you. I was watching TNA building up to your debut in TNA. Okay, Mo?
Yeah.
And Mo, they talked you up. They talked you up like, you were the baddest man on the planet. Okay, no problem. I was buying all that. Okay? Mo, I'm just going to be honest with you now. Then, bro, the first time we saw you on screen, you were wearing like what looked like a Burger King crown, and you had this cape on it. And I was screaming at home because I was saying to myself, they built up this guy like he was the baddest ass on the planet. And then the way they presented him, he looked like a clown. And not knowing you or nothing like that, it really, really bothered me. And now, listening to the way you freaking talk and knowing I really didn't get to hear you talk that much, I really feel they missed the mark. Bro, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I've been wrong a lot of times.
No, hey, listen, you're not wrong, man. You're a pro. This is what you do. You're not wrong at all. I think that, a lot of people don't realize, like, the robe I had on, I had it custom made. That's what I usually wear. The crown was like a $400 crown. I buy different crowns after every few fights. So people, when they saw me, they're like, what's this? But that's how I am when going to fights. That's just me. But you're right.
But Mo, you're exactly right, because me not knowing you at that time, I said, what is this? But my point is, if I would have saw that personality first, then the light bulb would have went off, and I would have said, okay, now I get it. But we never really got to hear you talk first, and then you came out like that, and it kind of took the luster off for me a little bit. That's all. I'm just being honest with you.
No, you're right, because the thing is that a lot of people weren't familiar with MMA. They're familiar with the UFC, but they weren't familiar with MMA like other organizations. So what they could have done is they could have played a few of my highlights, showing me walk the ring with the Japanese girls in Japan, beating people up. They could have played my highlights of me with my crown on and my robe on and everything. And they could have done that a few weeks, like King Mo's come in and put that out there so people would know to get an idea who I was.
Yeah, because
with the highlights. So
with me, the first thing I did was when, like here's what used to happen, Mo. The guys used to go, they used to be trained. And then at the WWE, when a guy was ready, they said, okay, Vince, Edge is ready or Christian is ready or whoever is ready. At that point, I would sit down and have a conversation with the guy and I would pull some reality out of that guy. Bro, I would have sat down with you for 2 minutes and I would have seen this freaking personality and I would have let that come out above all. And I don't think they did that. And I felt I think you were shortchanged.
You know what? It is what it is, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I've never been so nervous in my life because I was like, okay, one thing with pro wrestling is, if they cheer you, great. If they boo you, great. But if they hit you with the glacier and don't say nothing, remember Glacier?
Oh, yeah, of course. Mo, I say that all the time. I don't care because I've been accused of I write shades of gray. And my point is, I don't care if they boo. I don't care if they cheer. As long as they respond to you. It doesn't matter. As long as they're responding to you, you're over. Hey, Mo, I was reading now. Did you do some indie work with Tommy Dreamer?
Yeah, at House of Hardcore, yeah.
Now, off the record, between you and I in these four walls, is it fair to say Dreamer's somewhat of a wuss? Is that accurate?
Nah, Dreamer's cool, man. I'm serious.
Come on, Mo, crying out loud.
I'm serious, man. Well, look, when he booked me, it was great. I worked with him with a TNA when I sucker punched him. But he was good. He was good to work with, man. He was a stand-up guy, man. I like Dreamer.
Did you wreck his hair at any point?
I didn't touch his hair, man.
Hey, Mo, let me ask you something. Bro, you're a bright guy. You got a great personality. I love having this conversation with you. Bro, you ever think maybe of starting your own little promotion? You know what I'm saying, bro? I mean, you probably got a little funds with the success in MMA. You ever think of getting into the wrestling game on your own terms?
You know what? I thought about it, man. It's too hard, man. The wrestling game is different. A lot of the wrestlers, you can't trust them. I met a lot of shady wrestlers. Like, I've heard stories. Just the getting the ring, getting the facility. There's a lot of stuff involved, and you know what? I would either be booked or just go and watch. That's it. Because it's a lot of hard work running a wrestling promotion. Too much work.
Yeah, listen, wrestlers are very, very paranoia because Mo, they're independent contractors. They're all going for that same spot. It's everybody against everybody else. And a lot of paranoia, Mo, how were you accepted though, coming from the MMA world into that TNA locker room and, like working for Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore? How did they accept you? Because, listen, man, you're going from the legitimate world, into a world of fake fighting. I mean, let's say, hey, listen, I agree with you. You could break a neck, you could break a back. I mean, there's injuries that go with wrestling, but the baddest ass doesn't always win. It's predetermined. How are you accepted when you go from that legitimate world into the wrestling locker room?
Well, the thing is, I kind of knew the etiquette rules because I found out the hard way. When I went to OVW, they were calling me a shooter, and I was like, "Shooter? What are you talking about?" Like, I don't shoot nothing. I shoot wrestling shots, but that's it. And they're like, "Yeah, you're a shooter." And I was like, "Whatever." And like, "Oh," they're like, "Mo, you have heat." I was like, "I ain't got no gun. What time I got heat?" They're like, "You have heat. A lot of people here got heat with you." I was like, "So what they gonna do?" I was like, "If they want to, I can fight them all right now." And they're like, "No, Mo. Here's the thing. From now on, when you walk in the room with all the wrestlers, you say hi to every one of them. Shake their hand softly, nothing too hard. Because I messed up shaking hands hard and giving people dap. So I went, they're like, shake hands softly and like acknowledge everybody. when you leave, say bye to everybody and shake their hands. So I was like, okay, so why do you do that? And they're like, just because it's respect. And I was like, well, coming from amateur wrestling, we don't do that shit. I was like, y'all can do that. And they explained to me that that's what happened. So I advanced, went to the TNA locker room. I shook hands, said what's up to everybody. When I left, I shook hands, said bye to everybody, and they respected me for that.
Mo, but let's be honest, me and you here. And listen, bro, I was in the wrestling business for 25 years, and I was in every single locker room, so I seen it all. Mo, isn't that a little hypocritical? Because like I just said, bro, there is no team environment in professional wrestling because of the way it was set up. It was set up as we're independent contractors. We're all vying for the same spot. We're going to do whatever we can to get that spot. So I'm going to screw you. I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to stab you in the back. And all those things take place. And then when you look at the etiquette, which you explained, which is very real, you got to shake everybody's hand, the whole 9 yards. I mean, with all due respect, Mo, isn't that a little ridiculous?
Well, you know what? I thought it would, but then I remember when I went to OVW, Al Snow and Coach Dismore, and even Rip Rogers, and Danny Davis and Trash, Frank Miller, they're like, Mo, remember this. Without your opponent, you can't make no money. You can't go out there and wrestle yourself. So you need an opponent. So I started thinking, I was like, that makes sense. So I remember I used to go to boxing gyms. Say, for instance, I went to the Mayweather boxing gym. When the boxers walk in, they walk and say hi to everybody. What's up? Hey, how you doing? When they leave, they do the same thing. So I was like, you know what? It makes sense because you can't box yourself. And even now, in MMA, when I go out in the gym, I say hi to everybody, like everybody I can. And when I leave, I say bye to everybody I can because, truth be told, like, it's just respect. You know what I'm saying? And without an opponent, you can't get paid.
But, Mo, let's talk about that a little bit in the real world. Like you said, bro, you never shook the hand of your opponents or anything else. Bro, you see that all the time in sports now, Mo, and it drives me freaking crazy. I hate that, bro, especially, bro, if somebody's losing a football game and I see them laughing on the sidelines, like, I go out of my mind nuts. Now, Mo, let me ask you this question. I understand the respect thing, bro, and respect's got to be a big part of professional sports. But sometimes, bro, when the opponent's your buddy and you're shaking hands with the other team, and a lot of athletes do that nowadays, doesn't that take the competitive edge off just a little bit? I'm a big San Francisco Giant fan. My father was a New York Giant fan. And, bro, the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers, bro, those guys wanted to kill each other as a shoot. I mean, there were players that literally retired from the game because either the Giants wanted to trade them to the Dodgers or the Dodgers to the Giants. And there was no way they were going to ever play with the rival. I kind of miss those days. And whereas I understand respect, I just think it takes a little bit of the edge off the game. Am I crazy?
Well, it depends on who you are because it's like this with me. I'm not going to call no friends out. But if the friend, say Bellator went to one of my friends like, hey, you want to fight King Mo? And they signed the contract and they came to me, I'd sign it quick. And guess what? I'll be cool with them. But the thing is, I know he's my enemy. So know what I'm gonna do since we're friends, but you're my enemy. Instead of beating you up for 3 rounds and giving you brain damage, I'm gonna knock you out with 1 punch. Keep it simple. You can go 2 ways: the easy way with 1 punch, or the hard way, getting beat up over 3 rounds and getting ruined. Anybody that signs a contract to fight me, I respect them, but they're my enemy as soon as they sign the contract. And my thing is, if I fight you and I break your leg or you can't fight again, hey, that's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you chose to fight me. I don't. I have respect for whoever out of just the respect for the sport. If you train hard, I respect you. If you're willing to step in the cage, I respect you. But that don't mean we're friends at all. I can be cordial with you, but still want to kill you.
Hey, Mo, I got to tell you something. I'm sitting here by you. I'm seeing this big, beautiful smile. I'm seeing this great personality. I'm seeing this stand-up guy that I would love to go out and have you could drink a beer. I'll drink a soda. I don't drink, but
No, I love soda, Pepsi, Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Coke Zero. I'm seeing this guy that, like, listen, I'm already drawn to you. That's what personalities do to me. They draw you. But Mo, listen, I know, bro, there's got to be a side that I don't ever want to piss this guy off. So I want to ask you two things. Number one, what does really piss you off where I'm not seeing those beautiful pearly whites anymore? And what happens once King Mo is really pissed off?
Well, if you want to piss me off, steal from me or insult my family, I'll try to kill you. When I get mad, I just black out, man. I become impulsive. So whatever is by me, I'm gonna use to hit you. If I'm beside you, I'll probably try to choke you or hit you. I don't know, whatever. I just go into rage, man. Just do whatever it takes to harm you. That's how it is. But the thing is, in a cage, I can't fight like that or think like that because I'll get reckless. So in the cage, it's controlled chaos. Outside the cage, it's just pure chaos.
Yeah, no, Mo. It's funny because, like, I was talking to Ken Shamrock about that just last week. What you said, the controlled chaos. You guys, listen, man. You have to have a special level of intensity to do what you guys do. I always say, I think there's got to be a loose screw or two up here to do what you guys do, but also, you guys are so freaking dangerous that there has to be a level of being able to control that anger. And that's why I have such a great respect, because I don't know how you could have that level of intensity and that killer instinct, but yet be smart enough and intelligent enough to be able to control that. That's fascinating to me.
Well, that comes from practice and training. We train twice a day, 6 days a week. Actually 5 days a week. And I train once on Saturday and then take Sundays off. But like when I'm practicing I'm practicing technique. I'm trying to think with a clear and open mind. I'm not trying, because before I used to go out there and be like, rah, rah. When I wrestled, I'd be like, slam, pick you up. Oh, waste energy. And I'd be dead after one match. I'm like, what's wrong? And coach's like, Mo, you're out there trying to kill people. Just be technical and be a technical killer. So when you're doing it with technique, you can do it hard to try to kill them with the technique. But just don't go out there and try to kill them without technique, because then you'll waste energy and you'll get tired. Then you'll get killed. So everything I do is control chaos. And it's chaos that's technical.
Hey, Mo, I bet you that there are probably hundreds of MMA fighters out there that are told the whole thing, that the same thing, and can't control that chaos. And that is what destroys them. Because I would think discipline is a huge part of this.
Yeah. And to those people that have that issue, like, because the guys that have that problem, they go out there and they swing for the fences. The first 30 seconds, they swing for the fences hard. And they get tired. What I would tell them is to go out there, breathe, move, feint, gauge your range. And once you gauge your range, just throw straight punches. Throw straight punches and take your time. Because the thing is, the first minute or so, people fight out anxiety and they go out there and they are real tight. Let the time relax you. So go out there and bounce for 30 seconds, move around, keep your hands up, feint. And once you get relaxed, then go out there and execute your technique.
Yeah. Hey, Mo, you got any fights coming up you could tell us about? What's going on in your world as we speak?
I'm fighting this dude. Y'all know him as Rampage. I know him as Quentin Jackson. He's now a competitive eater. He's a competitive eater. He got big now. Fat, looks a little sloppy, but we're fighting at heavyweight. We're supposed to fight at 205, but he ate himself out of the weight class. So I'm fighting him March 31st. Free on Spike TV.
So hold on for a second. Hold on. We're going to promote that in a second. He ate his way out of the weight class at 205. So does that mean that you had to eat your way out as well?
Now it's like this, right? I'm a money weight. That's my weight class. So I'll fight you at heavyweight. If I can make the weight class, I'll fight you there. Right now, I'm after workout, I was 206.2 after the workout. I'll probably go to the fight weighing 212, 213. He'll probably be about 250, 250, 245, whatever. I don't care. I'm a throwback fighter. So if you sign a contract to fight me and I sign to fight you, we're gonna fight you at that weight class. And we're fighting heavyweight. So I just gotta be above 205.
So Mo, what is the date again on Spike TV? Because I got to see this one now.
Yeah, it's March 31st at the Allstate Arena. It's a rematch because it's a grudge match, actually. The first time we fought, it wasn't pretty, but I beat him. But they gave him the victory, a hometown decision. 90% of the MMA media had me winning. Sherdog.com had that as the 5th worst decision of the year because I got cheated. He knows. Put it like this, after the final bell rung, he walked up to me and was like, Mo, can I have a rematch? And I was like, you want a rematch? Yeah, ask the promoter. We'll make that happen. Because he thought he lost. And then once they said he won, he was like, oh, won? Well, I'll ask you for a rematch because I want to knock you out. And I was like, man, that's the lamest excuse I ever heard. But now I'm giving him the rematch that he asked for, and I'm going to punish him. I'm gonna embarrass him. It's gonna be controlled chaos, but torture. It's gonna be like Saw 4, Saw 5.
Oh boy, Saw 4. See, I don't want to see that side of you, Mo. I like this side, the conversation we had, bro. Listen, I'm telling you right now, man. Whatever your future holds in MMA and Bellator, and that's a big fight. I'm looking forward to that now, bro. You could make your money in wrestling, bro. Here's the problem with pro wrestling. They have very few people that could talk like you today. So now everybody's going out there doing ridiculous high spots. They're not even wrestling anymore.
Yeah, true.
You can freaking talk. Hey, listen, Arn Anderson. You gotta talk the asses into the seats. I know you can do that, bro.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of the Bullet Club. I love the Young Bucks. I know you probably don't like them. Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, Hangman Page. I'm a big Ring of Honor guy. I like Ring of Honor. April 1st.
Go ahead, Mo. April 1st.
April 1st, after I beat Quentin, April 1st, I'm going to Lakeland, Florida to watch the Young Bucks face the Hardys.
Now, Mo, that's interesting because, Mo, I'm 56, so I'm a lot older than you. But listen, bro, I'm old school. And all those great names you brought up, to me, that was professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I grew up on Bruno in New York, bro. That was professional wrestling. And here's my beef. This is my beef. I don't like today's wrestling. I don't like that style, but as an old timer, I kind of get insulted when you call it professional wrestling. It's not professional wrestling. I grew up on professional wrestling. What they're doing today is something very different. I have no problem with it, but I think if they called it something else, I would be fine with it. But the fact that when they say professional wrestling and I think of Arn and Tully and the psychology, when I think about that, that's not what that is. But, it's odd to me, Mo, that you're old school, but you still love the new school. Why can't I love the new school?
Well, the thing is, psychology is a dead art. I'm not gonna lie. When I went to OVW, and they try to teach us about wrestling psychology, people went blank, because there's so much to it. I'm not gonna lie, you're right. The new age wrestling today doesn't they don't tell a story with the matches. Sometimes it's hard to even tell who the face and the heel is, because now like the heels are faces and the faces are not heels. You don't know what's going on. The stories, like sometimes I feel like they give you what you want too soon. I remember what they're like I remember Al Snow and even Rick Rogers like, Mo, what you want to do is you want to dangle a carrot, keep dangling until they're begging for it.
Yeah, you're controlling the crowd. You're controlling the crowd. Exactly right.
Yeah, And I remember that's my first match. I remember my first match. They're like, Mo, you're not gonna throw punches. Cause I remember somebody's like, Mo, your finisher should be a knockout punch. You're like, no, Mo, that's terrible. Ronnie Garvin tried it, which he did, and the Big Show does it, and it's just it's weak. What you want to do is you want to tease. So when you go out there wrestle, the guy does something illegal, you get mad, you draw your fist back, you're gonna punch him. The referee says, hey, no, you can't punch. This is wrestling. So then you wrestle some more, he does something else, you draw your fist back, you're gonna punch him. The referee says, no, don't punch him. The crowd starts getting anxious. After the match, you beat him, he does something, then you punch him after the match. At the very end, you give them what they want, a big knockout punch, but you just can't do it during the match because then it loses its effectiveness in a sense.
But yet you still love this new style as well. I give you credit for that because I can't. I've tried, I've watched it, but it's just something foreign to me, and I just don't like it. That's all.
No, I understand what you're coming from, man. A lot of people don't like it.
Yeah. Well, Mo, listen, big fight, March 31st, Spike TV, free, Rampage Jackson. I'm going to be sitting right here in my cabin watching that. Bro, I appreciate you coming on the show today. The first time I've ever met you. You're a hell of a guy. I think you got a great future in professional wrestling, wherever that is. And I just want to thank you for joining us today, Mo. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, man. March 31st, King Mo, Rampage Jackson, Spike TV for free. Mo, thank you. I hope you come on the show again sometime.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely down, man. Just let me know what's up, and I'll come.
All right, Mo. Thank you very much. The great King Mo, ladies and gentlemen. Hell of a guy. You know, I got to tell you, a lot of times with these interviews, especially since, I got a talent coordinator now setting them up, I never know what I'm going to expect. When I'm thinking, King Mo is going to be this badass. I don't want to say the wrong thing. He's probably from the streets. Hell of a guy. I enjoyed the conversation. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, bro, this is what I mean about putting asses in seats. He sold me to watch that fight. I'm going to watch that fight March 31st on Spike TV. Even though Spike doesn't think very highly of me anymore, I'm still going to watch the fight on Spike TV, and so should you. Listen, I'm going to get into a little scenario in a minute. I'm going to compare KISS to professional wrestling because it kind of dawned on me yesterday. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, but before I do, I want to tell you about TrueCar. When you're looking to buy a car, you want to make sure that you're getting real pricing on actual inventory. Unfortunately, a lot of times this isn't the case. People configure cars online only later to find out they're not available. The old bait and switch. Trust me, it happened to me. With TrueCar, you're going to get real pricing on actual inventory that is on the lot. And not pricing offered by TrueCar, but pricing from an actual dealer. And not just any dealer, but a TrueCar certified dealer. This is a carefully curated network of dealers committed to transparency and offering you a competitive market price. Using TrueCar, you can easily find the car you want. TrueCar will show you what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for. Now you'll know what a fair price is for that automobile. Over 3 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar dealer network nationwide. There are over 13,000 certified dealers nationwide, and you will work directly with one of them. TrueCar users are more likely to enjoy a faster car buying experience, and they will save you an average of $3,000 off the MSRP. So when you're ready to buy new or used, visit TrueCar.com for a more confident car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states. That's TrueCar.com. Okay, listen, I've told this story many times. On my 16th birthday, I got my driver's permit and I bought Rock and Roll Over. 16, 40 years. I've been a KISS fan, but not like I used to be. It's kind of like professional wrestling. When I was growing up, there was a poster of Gene Simmons literally above my bed. And if you're a KISS fan, you know the poster set. It was shot of Gene from the feet up. He looked like he was 100 feet tall. The God of Thunder. This is before they took their makeup off. This is before Family Jewels. This is when Kiss was Kiss. And as a teenager, I got my strength from the Demon character. I would watch Gene Simmons and I would watch him perform and I would feel like there isn't anything I couldn't do. And I was 16 at the time. This is an absolute shoot. We all know as the years went on, Gene Simmons, it's all about the money. It's all about the almighty buck. And I mean, Kiss just sold out. I mean, it's that simple. They turned into an empire. And I got to be honest with you, I really, the Kiss caskets kind of work. The Kiss condoms kind of work. Maybe even the Kiss toilet paper, kind of works. But, they got further and further and further away from what they represented to me when I was a kid. I got to tell you, bro, a couple of years ago, Kiss came out with a Hello Kitty line. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, freaking Gene. I mean, bro, not for nothing. Do we really have to endorse Hello Kitty? At this point, bro, I'm really starting to lose all respect. First of all, the guy's has more money for 10 lifetimes. If he turns down a Hello Kitty endorsement, it's not going to kill the Kiss brand. Taking the endorsement is going to kill the Kiss brand. But yesterday I sat down and don't ask me why. I started watching Scooby-Doo meets freaking Kiss. And as I'm watching this, literally 5 minutes in, I could not watch this anymore. Because I'm going back to 16 years old. I'm going back to Rock and Roll Over. I'm going back to Madison Square Garden with Brian Chicurta when we went 2 out of the 3 nights. I'm talking about the blood-spitting demon. I'm talking about Dynasty. I'm talking about Christine 16. I'm talking about the freaking God of Thunder. Now he's in a Scooby-Doo freaking commercial. Movie. Now, it wasn't even a commercial. It was a movie. It was a full-length feature. Kiss and Scooby-Doo. That's what happened with freaking professional wrestling, bro. The Attitude Era has become Scooby-Doo. Kevin Owens is Shaggy. Sami Zayn is the guy that wears the ascot. There's no ass kickers anymore. There's no God of Thunder anymore. They're done, bro. They sold out. They sold out. Now kids are sitting down watching Scooby-Doo and Kiss. And what's ironic is I know there's a Scooby-Doo meets the WWE. Now do you understand why I'm not interested? I'm not. Kiss falls in that same freaking category, bro. John Mellencamp never changed over the years, bro. And he had an attitude and he had a chip on his shoulder and it probably cost him. But he stayed true to himself. He never sold out. I still love Mellencamp. But Kiss, with Scooby-Doo and the WWE with Scooby-Doo, that's my problem. I just thought I'd mention that to you. Now let me tell you about this. Remember to go to podcast1.com to find all the great sponsors of Vince Russo's The Brand. Because of them, I can bring you the brand each week with limited ads at no additional cost to you. If you heard a sponsor and you want to try that sponsor out, or you forgot a sponsor and want to see a list, you can access them by clicking on the Killer Deals button at podcast1.com and visiting Vince Russo's The Brand page. We only approve sponsors who make sense for our audience, and each of my sponsors are listed there with the banners linked to the promotional deal and the promos listed by the brands. Everything you need easily accessible in one place. So thanks to our sponsors and thanks to all you for supporting them. In addition, Vince Russo's The Brand is a participant in the Amazon Associates Program, an affiliate advertising program designed to provide a means for me to earn fees by linking to Amazon.com and affiliated sites. You can link to Amazon at podcast1.com. Well, that's it, everybody. I want to thank King Mo. I had a lot of fun with him. March 31st, I'm going to be watching that fight and pulling for him. I'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's right about time again to swerve again, confuse the general fans again. Add another swerve and then put it on a poll again. Put it on a poll again. Put it on the poll again. And our square to quad is gonna get emotional as I wait to overbook the damn